Hello guys and welcome back, and today we are going to do another CompTIA Plus Core 2 practice test, and this is for latest CompTIA Plus Core 1 exam, which is 220-1202. So this was released only in 2025, and this is for exam which starts on 2025, guys. So before you start, guys, if you are interested in more practice tests, you can go to the channel's homepage. I have here Tech Plus, Core 1, Core 2, Network Plus, Security, and for many other different examinations. So if you are interested, go to the channel's homepage by clicking on TechWolf under this video, and you can find more practice test videos. Or if you are interested to take these practice tests for yourself, visit my Udemy course, where I have 1200 questions which you can go and do for yourself. There are questions with answers, with explanations to the correct answers, and there is 1200 questions in one practice test for CompTIA Core 1 and CompTIA Core 2. And no further ado, now let's get back into the Skilltestpro, and by the way, also very similar questions as in real exams on Skilltestpro. If you are interested, go and do these as well. Like I'm mentioning in all my videos, guys, before you take your exam, do as many as these practice tests as you can, rather than just taking some course or just studying, because when you are doing a practice test, you are testing your knowledge on different subjects in one practice test, where you are, for example, studying one particular subject. You are not mixing up those subjects, and sometimes that's why many people don't pass. You have to do these practice tests so your mind is able to switch from one subject to another, from ports to drives to whatever it is in particular exam. And here on Skilltestpro, for example, you can take practice tests on CompTIA certifications. You can take practice tests on Microsoft certifications, and you can take practice tests on Cisco certifications. And on each exam, for each exam, they have also free practice tests. And even if you would be paying, it is very, very cheap. It's about $6 or $7 a month, I believe. It is the cheapest. Or if you want, you can buy here a lifetime membership, which will cost you only $20, guys. This is lifetime, and you will have access to all these practice tests. If it is in case if you are really planning to become an IT professional in future, and you are going to do many more different examinations, then Skilltestpro is 100% the place. So no further ado, guys, let's get into it and let's do this practice test for CompTIA Plus Core 2, and this is for latest exam. And first question is, a company wants to ensure that users are only able to install approved applications. What feature should they use? So company wants to ensure that users are only able to install approved applications. What feature should they use? File Explorer, Notepad, Group Policy, Windows Media Player, or Disk Cleanup? And I believe that here answer is very obvious. Company should use Group Policy, as Group Policy allows administrators to enforce software restrictions and security policies across a network. A technician suspects that the system has malware infection. What is the first step they should take? So if you suspect that your system, or usually system is also referred to a computer, has a malware infection, what is the first step they should do, or what you should do in this scenario? Disconnect the system from the network, format the hard drive, disable Windows Update, install a new hard drive, or change the display resolution. And here, if you are a company, or if you are a technician and you are working for a company, and if you have a smallest suspicion that any of the computers or any device or network device has a malware infection, first thing, you always disconnect it from the system or from the network, from local area network or from your company network, so that malware which is on that particular one computer doesn't get distributed to all computers in your network of your company. And this is the most logical step, and this is also one of the questions which I have seen on CompTIA Plus Core 1 practice test, Core 2 practice tests very often, because they or CompTIA want to make sure that you understand that if there is a malware, if there is infection, there is some virus sitting on computer, first thing is you disconnect this particular machine, particular computer from all other networks, so that malware has no chance to travel over the network to other devices on the same local area network or on the same company network. So always remember this. Next, which tool allows the technician to configure system startup settings and troubleshoot boot related issues? So, which tool? Now we are searching for a tool that allows technician or you to configure system startup settings and troubleshoot boot related issues. Task Manager, Windows Update, MS Config, Notepad, or Event Viewer. And here I guess you should know that this is MS Config, as MS Config, the system configuration tool, which is MS Config, allows users to manage startup settings and troubleshoot boot issues. A user reports that their system is running out of storage space. What tool can help free up space? And this is also one question which you should know. And even in real life, when you are using your computer and your computer is running out of space, you can do exactly this, and you should know how to do it. Or what is this action? You should use a disk cleanup, Notepad, Windows Defender, Task Manager, or System Restore. And here also the answer is very obvious. You can use disk cleanup, as disk cleanup removes temporary files, system logs, and other unnecessary files to free up storage space. A technician needs to check if a driver is causing a hard drive issue. What tool should they use? Task Manager, File Explorer, Windows Defender, System Restore, or Device Manager. And here the correct answer: if a technician needs to check if a driver is causing a hardware issues, what tool should you use, or what tool should the technician use? And here the correct answer is Device Manager, as Device Manager displays all installed hardware and drivers, allowing troubleshooting of hardware related issues. A user reports that their laptop screen goes black randomly. So here is the problem: the laptop screen is switching off or goes black randomly, but the system remains powered on. So laptop screen does it, goes off randomly, while the system remains powered on, while the computer is still switched on. What should the technician check first? What should you check first in this scenario? Power settings, printer queue, speaker volume, Windows firewall settings, or system restore? So what would be the correct answer for this question? And here the most logical answer would be power settings, because there could be something to do with power settings of your screen, for example, as the power settings may be configured to turn off the display after a set period of inactivity. So yes, this is another thing which many people get annoyed sometimes when they are working with their computers and they do something else, for example write something down, but their screen goes off or goes black, and then they have to again start it. When I work, for example, with computers, I always disable this option, so my screen stays on all the time. And I use power settings to enable my screen on my Windows computer to stay on all the time, so I don't get distracted. For example, if I do something on computers and I start writing something down, and then I refer back to computer and my screen is switched off. So you use power settings to enable or disable this option, or make it a lifetime, or make it unlimited time, so you can work on your screen all the time. A technician wants to ensure that all computers in an organization receive security patches regularly. What tool should they use? Task Manager, File Explorer, Device Manager, Windows Update, or Notepad? And here the correct answer is you should use Windows Update, as Windows Update ensures that all security patches and software updates are installed automatically. And you can easily do it by searching Windows Update, or right-clicking on your start icon, going to settings, and there you will see, and there you can enable Windows Update to allow it to update automatically whenever there is a new update. Which feature in Windows helps users restore a previous version of a file that was accidentally deleted or modified? So, which feature in Windows helps users to restore a previous version of a file that was accidentally deleted or modified? So now we are looking for this feature. Task Scheduler, File History, Windows Defender, Device Manager, and Windows Update. And I would recommend you guys, whenever you see all these questions, to try them out in real world. Try them out, all these tools in real world, so once you will try it out once, you will have a good understanding what this particular tool is or feature is doing, and how it works in real life on your computer. And once you do it once, it will get much more clearer. Rather, if you are learning tech, like as I know that CompTIA Plus is the very first exam for tech professionals, then you don't really, in many cases, many people don't even know what they are learning. They see which feature Windows helps users to restore previous version of files of accident, then they learn only the answer. What would be the answer here? For example, here the correct answer is file history, but you don't really understand why it is file history. But if you try it out on your computer, you will have much better understanding of this particular feature, and you will even like that you know how to use this feature, as you can find hundreds or thousands or even millions of videos on YouTube on each of these questions and see how this works in real life. And those are only 1-2 minute long videos. So this is just my advice to those who are going to take these exams. And next question. A user reports slow performance and frequent application crashes. Task Manager shows 95% of memory usage. What is the most likely cause? Insufficient RAM, weak power supply, corrupt BIOS firmware, outdated printer driver, or too many browser extensions. Which one is the correct answer here? And here we again look at the question. A user reports slow performance and frequent application crashes. So why would there be a slow performance if you are working on your computer and frequent application or applications are crashes? And Task Manager shows 95% memory usage. Like I mentioned, guys, whenever you are reading a question, everything what is in that question is there for a reason. So here in first sentence it is giving you the problem. In second sentence it already starts giving you the clues where you should look for the clues, as Task Manager shows 95% memory usage. This means that you are working on your computer, frequent application crashes, and you have your applications are crashing for some reason, and then when you open up Task Manager, you see that for some reason 95% of memory is being used on your computer. This means that memory, whenever you are working with anything live on your computers, you might ask what memory we are talking here. And we are talking here about we are talking here about RAM, or random access memory. That is the that is the only memory which you are working when you are working with some applications in real world scenarios, or in real time, whenever you are opening some applications, browsers, whatever you are doing on your computer, you are working with random access memory, not with the storage, which is like hard drive or SSD. So this pretty much give you the answer of this question. And what is the most likely cause? Straight away, insufficient RAM, weak power supply, corrupt BIOS firmware, outdated printer driver, too many browser extension. Those doesn't apply, so correct answer most likely is insufficient RAM. Because whenever you understand the question, like I'm mentioning in all my videos, guys, I'm trying to prepare you, and I'm doing this only for CompTIA videos, guys, because probably you are new to tech, and that's why I'm trying to make you or start. I'm giving you these clues as I have passed many of these exams, and I want you to start thinking properly when you are doing these exams. First thing, every time you understand the question. If you don't understand the question, you approach the answers, you just make house in your head. And I have repeated this in my videos for, I believe, hundreds of times whenever I am doing this, guys. Whenever you approach any exam, understand the question. When you understand the question, always look for problem and look for clues. Here we have a problem, first sentence, and second sentence already gives us clues. And if we have studied for this exam, we will straight away, in 90% of cases, we will know the answer to that particular question. Okay, guys, sorry for wasting your time. Let's get to the next one. A technician needs to check for system errors and crashes. Which tool should they use? So, a technician needs to check for system errors and crashes. And here, what we need to do as a technician, we need to check for system errors and system crashes. So what tool we would use in this scenario? So we are searching for a tool which is made for checking system errors and crashes. Whether that tool is Task Manager, Device Manager, Event Viewer, Disk Cleanup, or File Explorer. So which one is that particular tool? And obviously, or logically, if you have studied for the exam, you would know the answer straight away, that is Event Viewer. As Event Viewer logs system errors, warnings, and critical events which help diagnose issues. A user is unable to open certain websites but can access others. So you, as a user, or whoever is a user, is able to open some websites but cannot open or access other websites. What is the most likely cause? Full hard drive, big Wi-Fi signal, incorrect DNS settings, outdated keyboard driver, Windows Defender is disabled. And here, if you understand it, if you know how network works and what happens whenever you are working or browsing the net, then you straight away start thinking about what would be the most close or biggest, what would be the most common issue in this scenario. If we look at full hard drive, no, this wouldn't affect our access of network or websites in general. So this is not the correct answer, as hard drive is responsible only for storing data on our computer. That could be affected, for example, if we would be opening some folders and we would try to open some PDF files or something on our computer which is stored on our computer. As we are accessing websites, this is straight away to do something with network. We are going out of our computer into the network, so that would be nothing to do with full hard drive. or full hard drive, for example, may slow down performance of our computer. That is also 80% of cases when your computer starts working slow. This is because your hard drive is full and it is slowly able to pass out data from the memory. Weak Wi-Fi signal, this is most likely, but if we look at the weak Wi-Fi signal, it would have nothing to do with open certain websites but can't access others. We would be able to open all websites. If that would be weak Wi-Fi signal, we would be able to open all websites, only they would be opening probably or working slowly. So also not the correct answer. Or incorrect DNS settings, domain name system settings. Or this is the correct answer in this scenario, as this is to do with our misconfigured DNS. As you can see here in explanation, incorrect or misconfigured DNS settings can prevent access to certain websites while allowing access to others. So this could be the most likely answer, or this is the correct answer in this question. Or if we continue to outdated keyboard driver, nothing to do. Drivers are only for setting up some hardware on your computer or something, or software, but in many cases, but in general this is for hardware components to make them work with your system. Nothing to do with accessing websites. Windows Defender is disabled. Also has nothing to do with Windows Defender, is only for securing your computer, but nothing to do with whether it's enabled or disabled, which would pick between some websites which you can access or some which you can't access. So next question, which Windows utility allows a technician to manage startup applications? Task Manager, Device Manager, Windows Update, Event Viewer, or Disk Cleanup. So which one would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is Task Manager, as Task Manager has a startup tab that allows users to enable or disable startup programs to improve boot performance. Like I mentioned, try it out, check this out in real world, how it works. Straight away search in YouTube, what does it mean, what is the Task Manager, what are these startups, and so on and so forth. Try it out in real life when you are even preparing for your exam, so you see how it works in real life, not only know the correct answer to these questions. Otherwise it doesn't make sense to you in your head when you will have to do, or if you would plan to be an IT technician, and if you will want to or need to do it in real life, or if you will be hired for a job, you will not have an idea of how to do this or how to open these device managers, task managers, and how to search for these things if you will not be practicing them in real life, guys. A user reports that after installing a software update, so you have just updated your software, their application crashes frequently. So your application starts crashing for some reason. What should the technician do first? Reinstall Windows? Nothing to do. Straight away, you should know that reinstalling Windows, why would you reinstall all operating system on which you actually on which actually this software or this application has been installed, which is crashing? So always think logically. Reinstalling Windows, this is your main operating system, whether you are using Windows, whether you are using Mac OS operating system. No point in reinstalling it if what is happening crashing or is crashing something which is installed on this operating system. For example, you could think of it like, for example, you are driving a car, and if passenger is treating him bad, instead of throwing out the passenger out of your car, you are throwing out a car or changing a car, and you expect the passenger to change his behavior, which will never happen. So think of it in that manner. So restore the system to a previous restore point, delete all temporary files, disable Windows firewall, or run a full virus scan. So which one would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is restore the system to a previous restore point, as system restore allows users to revert their system to a state before the problematic update was installed. And this also applies only to your computers or to your operating system if this is enabled. If you have disabled it for some reason, then your restore points will not be saved. So also you can do a research on this, find your recent restores or restores to previous restores, or whether you have enabled or disabled them. As by default, for example, for Windows 10 or 11, that would be enabled automatically. And next question. A technician needs to prevent unauthorized access to a lost or stolen laptop. So, lost or stolen laptop. Here we are talking about company security, how it is securing its data. What should they enable? Windows Defender, guest account, file history, BitLocker, or system restore. And here the correct answer, if you would want to encrypt all data on your hard drive or on PC or on laptop, you would use BitLocker, as BitLocker encrypts the entire disk, preventing unauthorized users from accessing data on a lost or stolen laptop. A user complains that their laptop frequently overheats and shuts down. What is the most likely cause? Failing hard drive, excessive dust built up in cooling vents, outdated graphics driver, low battery health, corrupt BIOS settings. So which one would be the most likely cause or correct answer in this question? And here, logically, the correct answer will be excessive dust buildup in cooling vents. And whenever you have a laptop, for example, or computer even, or PC, you should always clean your dust vents or filters or anything what is to do with ventilation. As it is getting clogged up, you should do it at least once every 12 months for each device. So next question, actually I will click on it, so make sure that this is correct answer. As you can see, dust can block airflow, causing the system to overheat and shut down as protective measure. A company requires all employees to use multi-factor authentication or MFA when logging into a company system. What is an example of MFA or multi-factor authentication? And here you should know what is multi-factor authentication, and in general, what is multi-factor authentication? It is that you are using more than one type of authentication, something you know, something you have, something you are. For example, something you know is your password, something you are is, for example, your fingerprint or eye scan. And whenever you put together these two types of authentications, where is your password and where is like you, something you know and something you are, this is multi-factor authentication. So those are two different types of authentications. So think of it that way. And answers are entering a username and password. So think straight away what it is. It is something you know only, because you know your username, you know your password. Typing a password twice, something you know, that would be only something you know. So there is no two multi-factor authentication, there is only one type, something you know. Logging in with a single sign-on SSO service, so also something you know, or for example something that system knows. Using a fingerprint scan, so first one, fingerprint scan, something you are, and password, and something you know. So using a fingerprint scan, something you are, and something you know is the password. So there are multi-factor. There are more than one type of verification. So this is most likely the correct answer, but let's read the last one. Changing a password every 90 days. So this is simple action. This is not nothing to do with multi-factor authentication itself. So this would be the correct answer. So MFA, or multi-factor authentication, requires 2 or more authentication factors, such as something the user knows, for example password, or something they have, for example fingerprint. So this is not correct here. Written something they have, that could be, for example, verification card or some chip, but not a fingerprint. As something fingerprint is something you are. It belongs to something you are, because your fingerprint is unique to you. But something they have, that would be, for example, what you have, like for example some chip to access building or open doors, or anything like that, like RFID chips and so on and so forth. So next one, let's go to next question. A technician needs to migrate user data from an old Windows 10 PC to a new one. What tool should they use? So what tool you need to migrate data from one PC to another PC? Disk cleanup, file history, Windows Defender, Event Viewer, or Task Manager. So which one would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is file history, as file history allows users to back up and restore personal files, making it ideal for data migration. Next one, a user reports that they forgot their Windows login password. Which method would allow them to reset it? So if you have forgot your Windows login password, what method would allow them to reset it? What method would allow you to reset it? BIOS reset, safe mode with networking, Windows password reset disk, uninstalling recent Windows updates, or running malware scan. Which one would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is Windows password reset disk, as a password reset disk allows users to create a new password if they have forgotten their login credentials. A technician is configuring Windows firewall for company network. What is the primary function of the firewall? So here you should know why would you need firewall and why you would need antivirus. These are two different types of softwares. One is antivirus, one is firewall, and they do different things. What do they protect? In this scenario, what firewall is the primary function of the firewall, not antivirus? Managing software updates, preventing phishing attacks, encrypting data stored on the drive, blocking unauthorized inbound and outbound traffic, increasing system performance. So which one is the correct answer here? And here, if you know why we use firewall and why we use antivirus software, you would know what is responsibility of firewall. So this is blocking unauthorized inbound and outbound traffic. So firewalls protect network, and antivirus software protect applications which are on our computer. So this is the correct answer here, blocking unauthorized inbound and outbound traffic. So with all traffic on network what comes into your computer, and all traffic which you are sending out, this is protected by firewall. Or you can limit, or for example you set firewall rules to allow some traffic, or see how allow some traffic or disable some traffic to your computer or out of your computer, or even regulate the ports on which this traffic is coming in or out of your particular device. A firewall monitors and controls network traffic, preventing unauthorized access to or from a system. A user reports that their laptop is displaying no boot device found error, and this is one of the questions which they for some reason is still asking on their CompTIA Plus Core 1 exam. After recent Windows update, what is the most likely cause? Corrupt Windows installation, disconnected or failed hard drive, overheating CPU, faulty graphics driver, or insufficient RAM. And like I mentioned, guys, if you are interested, go and use Skilltestpro, or if you are planning to become really a IT professional, this is one which you should have under your belt. There are many, there are a couple of questions for free for each of these exams, or you can get a lifetime membership for, like I mentioned, about $20, where in other applications you wouldn't buy anything for $20. For example, CompTIA sells 500,000 or 1,000 for just joining their education programs, or for example other websites, similar websites where you can take this practice test, would sell you only one practice test for the same amount of money, where here you can get a lifetime membership and you can access to CompTIA, Microsoft, Cisco certification practice tests for life, or you can get also their monthly subscription, which is about $6 or $7 only, guys, and they can do these practice tests as many as you can. So okay, let's get back to this. So disconnected or failed hard drive, here is the correct answer, guys, as no boot device found. Error often indicates that the hard drive is not detected due to loose connection failure or incorrect BIOS boot settings. So yes, guys, this was another CompTIA Plus Core 2 practice test, and if you are interested in more of these practice tests on different subjects, I will be making more videos. Go to the channel's homepage and there you will find many more playlists with many more of these practice tests. So if you found this video useful, leave a like, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and see you in the next one.